Hey everybody, welcome back to the vlog. Okay, so where do we start? So a couple of weeks ago, I was cruising up the canal and I started getting a pain in my leg. And it got progressively worse, and it got to the point where I could hardly walk on it. It was so painful. Anyway, so a couple of weeks on, I didn't know what else to do. It was so painful, and I'm like, okay. I've never really used the NHS for anything medical other than getting my teeth done, a few years back. But never been to an NHS hospital, never got an ambulance or any of those sort of things. So anyway, I called NHS 111. After finding out that's what you do, you call 111. Anyway, so I spoke to two lovely nurses on the phone, and one of them the second one I spoke to did an assessment, and from that assessment, she decided to call out an ambulance for me, like a non-urgent ambulance, which I thought, oh, come on guys, seriously, like, you don't have to do that. I'm not dying, it's not an emergency, I've just got a pain in my leg, and they said, oh, no, it's fine, we'll send one out, it'll be there in a couple of hours. I thought, okay, great. 15 minutes later, I get two ambulance officers come to the boat. I couldn't believe my ears. Oh yeah, they'll come to the boat. I'm like, okay. So they came to the boat, and I hobbled back to the ambulance, and they did all the tests, usual, and sussed me out, my breathing and heart rate and blood pressure is all fine, right? And but they did notice a little bit of a swelling around my knee. And so they referred me to the local hospital. So I've been up there today, and was seen to within, only a couple of hours, given how busy hospitals are at the moment with this bloody COVID crap. So I just went to a GP, and she just said, look, it's a sprain. Told her the whole story. I've done 600 miles and over 350 locks, and I have to twist and turn and crouch down to start the engine, get into my bed, twist and turn to get in and out of the boat. So I've just pulled a muscle, probably, and just sprained my knee. And that's all she said it was. Now I know a sprain can end up being something worse if I don't look after it. So the GP just said, look, take some ibuprofen and get some, some of that gel. Drink lots of rum. Or actually, the AMBO said that, drink lots of rum, so that's what I'm doing now. Cheers. And just take it easy as much as you can. But I started panicking a little bit. I'm like, oh shit, don't tell me it's gonna be this, it's gonna be that, it's gonna be surgery, I'm gonna be out of action for the next 6 months. So I was like, okay, well, what do I do in terms of my cruising? So I asked my Facebook group. Yes, I'm on Facebook because it's just easier for me to keep in contact with all my friends and family back in Australia. And I've only got 21 people on my Facebook page. So, and I now belong to the group that I founded for cruiser enthusiasts. So I put a question to them. So I've gone through the process of actually finding out all about how to get a mooring at a marina. And let me tell you, it has been a farce. It's been a really interesting exercise. But the problem is, I'm a full-time liveaboard. Most of the marinas that allow liveaboards are all booked up now because we're coming into winter, right? And the ones that don't only allow leisure moorers, which means you can moor your boat up there for the winter and then go home back to your house. So the other didn't have any space, or only allowed leisure moorers. The first marina I contacted didn't accept me because he didn't like the look of my boat, i.e. they don't accept old cruisers. That kind of blew me away. I'm like, well, okay, if you don't want my money, well, screw you. I'm not going to use your services when I eventually get a narrowboat, if that's your attitude. I've since found out that there's actually quite a number of marinas who don't allow that either. So I'm like, well, what happens in the event that I do need a mooring? Say if my knee was really bad, what do I do? Anyway, so I did end up contacting the Canal River Trust licensing division, explain the situation, what I was doing, the steps involved, etc. I understand they have a welfare department as well, so I could potentially maybe get onto a leisure mooring with the Canal River Trust because they have leisure moorings. Technically, you're not supposed to live on leisure moorings, but in some cases they do make exceptions. So I'm sure that, you know, when push came to shove, you know, I'd be able to get moored up somewhere if I needed to. The good news is that my knee problem is only a sprain and I can continue cruising, which is awesome news, absolutely awesome news, because I was starting to get really panicky and depressed about, you know, being cooped up in a marina for the next 6 months, not being able to move, getting surgery or what have you. So that's all by the by now. So I can start cruising, and I can cruise all the way through winter, which is absolutely awesome. So, but it's been a really good exercise on, you know, finding more about, you know, how marinas work. Quite often, in a lot of cases, people book marina berths a year in advance. They're very expensive though. One marina I looked at, really, it's got all the facilities like showers and laundry and shore hookup and all that kind of stuff. It's up at Stone, called Aston Marina, but it was £175 a month. The leisure mooring that I was looking at with the Canal River Trust, it was £200 a month. And I'm like, it's a lot of money, really is. You know, thankfully I don't have to go down that avenue. I can spend all that money now on petrol and, you know, continuing doing what I'm doing. So I'm really relieved. I really am. I've got a knee brace, and the GP just said, look, take, you know, anti-inflammatories and get some anti-inflammatory gel and just look after yourself as best you can. But yeah, so that's what I'm doing, and that means I can, yeah, continue my cruise, which is, yeah, such a relief. But I would like to say this little message. Thank you, big thank you to everyone who works at the NHS. You guys are just, talk about a world-class system. You guys are great. It is a world-class system. You know, like the ambulance coming out and stuff. Like in Australia, if I wanted an ambulance, it'd cost me $400, and there's no guarantee that it'd arrive anytime soon. You know, the NHS ambulance was here in 15 minutes. So I'd like to extend a really big thank you to the nurses that I've dealt with at the hospital on the phone, the GP that I dealt with at the hospital today, but also a big special thank you to Kirsty Houston and Rachel Young, the two Ambos that visited my boat. Thanks, girls. You guys do this country such a service. I'm blown away, really, at how good the NHS is. It really is first class. It really is. So thank you, girls. It was lovely to meet you, and it's funny, every time, you know, I've had to tell people my story about living on the boat, cruising around, to explain to them, you know, why potentially I've got this knee problem or other problems, because I've got tennis elbow in my right elbow as well. I've got a brace for that I wear for locks and what have you, and that's really, really helpful. And they're just like, they're like stoked that I'm doing all this sort of stuff, you know. So I dare say I'll probably have half the NHS follow my vlog now. But yeah, girls, thank you so much, and to everyone at the NHS, you guys are what are keeping this country afloat at the moment. You really are. So my hat goes off to you. It really does. So thank you for keep on doing what you're doing, because we couldn't survive without you. So on that note, that's all I've got to say, and I can continue cruising, so look out for some more cruising vlogs soon. See you guys.